name is Laudon Schuett, and this is an introduction to my new mini-series, Diving Deeper. It's going to be a mini-series on the Renaissance lute. Many of you may know me from my other YouTube series that I ran called The Fundamentals of Lute Playing. I finished that up, I don't know, 6 months, a year ago. And I'm very happy with how that turned out, and I'm glad to see lots of people using it. And my original intention was to sort of be done with that. I thought I'd accomplished everything that I could in terms of online videos. I think, I made the case that it really, there was more to be learned from private lessons after that point. But I had a lot of people come to me and say, oh, could you do a video on this, or could you do a video on that? And I also reached out to some of the people on the Patreon chat line and said, hey, is there anybody looking for a particular video that you feel is missing or something like that? So I thought my solution would be to start, this will be sort of a mini series. It'll have a certain number of episodes, and then I'll probably take a break just because my life has gotten crazier. I've got more kids. I'm doing more concerts. I had a wonderful time teaching at the Lute Society of America. If you are not a member of the Lute Society of America, or if you've never been to Lute Fest, you absolutely should do that. I'll put a link in the description here. So I think the way this is going to work is I'm going to do this little mini series. I'll keep trying to put up performance videos and things like that. And then when I've got another block of time to do another little mini series, I'll do another one, and I'll just kind of call them all Diving Deeper. Now, what I will say is that in general, this series will be geared more toward advanced students. I feel like there's enough in the fundamental series. I think it was like 60 or 61 episodes to sort of feed the beginners out there, to give them the things that they need to get started. And these sort of mini series are going to be, as the title says, diving deeper, getting into more complicated things. And so if you're not sure about whether you're ready for the things in here, or you start watching maybe a few videos in and you go, oh my gosh, I have no idea what he's talking about, go back to the fundamental series. It's free. It's on YouTube. Same channel that I'm on right now. You can pull it up under my playlist. Now, I did want to just talk a little bit about what I'm going to include in this first series. I don't think I'm going to get to everything that everybody requested, but I made a little list here. So today is my introduction video. And it will be, again, focused on Renaissance lute. That is my love. I'm not a Baroque lute player. I think there's enough music and enough things going on that I'm perfectly content playing Renaissance music, probably for the rest of my life. Some of you have requested things like more 10-course lute videos, and I am a great lover of 10-course music. I played a lot of it in my early days. I do not have a great 10-course right now. If I get a better 10-course lute, I'll be more than happy to make more videos on that. But just doing the one or two that I did for the fundamental series was a huge pain, because I had to take my crummy 10-course and just do everything I could to make it sound a little bit better for those videos. And it's not a fun one for me to play. So if I can borrow a good 10-course lute, or eventually get one, I will definitely make some videos on 10-course lute. Things that are going to be in this mini series. So the next episode, which will come out next week, I've got a little bit of a skills assessment for everybody to kind of test. Maybe you finished the fundamentals of lute playing, or you just don't know how you're doing. And the skills assessment is really just looking at sort of things that I look for in students, and I want to see that they're progressing in. So that'll be a fun episode. That'll be next week, and we'll talk more about that. I'm going to do an episode on Galliards, meter and rhythm. That was a requested one from one of the Patreon people. We also got requests to maybe go through a piece together, and I think maybe one of them requested it, but I'm going to do the Caparola Ricercar Decimo, which is in my book. I'm going to do an episode on sources, musical sources. I know in the fundamentals of lute playing, I talked a lot about things like variety of lute lessons, which does have music in it, but I was focusing on the introduction. But just like Renaissance music sources that everybody should know, meat and potatoes. Make sure that like you've experienced playing through the Caparola lute book, that you know Dalza, that you know Gorzanis, that you know the Matthew Holmes manuscripts and things like that, and where to find them. We'll talk about that. Listening to recordings, we're going to talk about this from an amateur perspective and a professional perspective, and you're going to hear that a lot about in this series, is sort of what does that even mean in today's environment to be a professional versus an amateur? And, you know, is there really a very clear line between those two things? And should you worry about it? Like, does it make any difference? I mean, your goal is to just play the lute as well as you can. And then I actually had a question, and I've been surprised by the amount of people who are interested in this, is just composition, writing pieces. And I did a class for the Lute Society of America at their Lute Fest, which was an introduction to composition. So I think what I will do is I will make a video where we talk about some sort of basic steps to get into composition and to start kind of get on your feet and get going on that. And then I've got, of course, plans to do some recordings of pieces. I'm going to record 2 of my own pieces. I think I'm going to do the John Trout Quadro Pavin, which I wrote for a wonderful LSA board member named John Trout. Fantasia that I wrote for my friend Warner Ivorus, which incorporates Thomas Campion tunes. And then I will do a full recording of the Ricercar Decimo and then What If a Day from my book. And I'll try to do more. You'll notice I've got a new background here and a sort of a new setup. This is in part because of my living situation, which is that I live in an apartment building and we got some new neighbors and they're very nice, but they have little kids that are home all day long and they make lots of noise. So I've had to move where I do the recording. So I've sort of built a more mobile recording setup here. So that's the plan. So next week we're going to dive into the skills assessment video and kind of give you guys an opportunity to see where you're at and how you're feeling. I hope you enjoy this new series. And again, as we go through, if you feel overwhelmed or I'm moving too quickly, remember this is really made for more advanced students, and you may want to jump back to the fundamentals of lute playing, which will stay up for as long as YouTube exists. All right, I'll see you next week for the skills assessment, and I hope you have a great one. Bye-bye.